Hello, amazing English learners. Welcome back to Coffee English, where we discover the secrets that transform your English journey forever. Today, I want to tell you something that sounds crazy at first. The biggest mistake English learners make is trying to speak from their very first lesson. When you force yourself to speak English too early, you actually hurt your ability to become fluent later. If you have ever felt frustrated because you understand English but cannot speak it well, write the word silent in the comments. This simple word will help other learners who have the same problem find this important information. This episode will show you the science behind something called the silent period. This is a natural phase that your brain needs, but most English courses ignore it completely. By the end of our time together, you will understand exactly why your brain refuses to speak English and how to work with your brain instead of against it. Are you ready to discover why silence might be the most powerful tool in your English learning journey? Let's begin. Let me start with a fascinating story that puzzled researchers for many years. In the 1980s, American schools noticed something strange. Immigrant children who arrived knowing zero English would sit silently in classrooms for months. Teachers were worried. Parents were scared. Everyone thought these children had learning problems. But then something amazing happened. After 5 to 6 months of complete silence, these children suddenly started speaking English. They did not just say simple words. They began using complex sentences, proper grammar, and natural pronunciation. At the same time, children in traditional English classes who were forced to speak from day one still struggled with mistakes and heavy accents years later. This mysterious situation caught the attention of Professor Stephen Krashen, one of the world's leading language learning experts. His discovery revolutionized everything we thought we knew about learning languages. These children were not being lazy or slow. Their brains were doing something incredibly smart. They were building a complete mental model of English before trying to speak it. Think about this. When you learned your native language as a baby, did anyone force you to speak on your first day? Of course not. You spent months just listening, absorbing, understanding. Your brain was busy creating connections between sounds and meanings. This built the foundation that allowed you to speak naturally when you were ready. Now comes the fascinating science that explains everything. During the silent period, your brain does 3 important jobs. These jobs are impossible when you try to speak at the same time. First, your brain builds what scientists call a virtual language model. Imagine your brain as a powerful computer that needs to download and install a complete language program. During the silent period, your brain downloads English grammar patterns, vocabulary connections, and sound systems. This process needs enormous mental energy. This energy gets wasted when you try to speak too early. Second, your brain creates connections between new English sounds and knowledge you already have. Remember, you already have millions of ideas in your mind. You just need English words for them. Your brain connects the sound water to the idea of water you already know. This connection process needs quiet, focused attention. Third, your brain develops what researchers call feel for the language. You know how you automatically know what sounds right in your native language? You are not thinking about grammar rules. You just feel it. Your brain develops this same natural feel for English, but only if you give it time to observe without the pressure of speaking. Professor Krashen discovered that language learning happens through something he called comprehensible input. This means messages you understand even though they contain new language elements. Here is the key point. Your brain learns language when you understand the meaning, not when you memorize rules. When you watch a simple English video where you can follow the story, your brain automatically notices language patterns. You do not need to study these patterns. Your brain absorbs them naturally. But here is what most people get wrong. If the input is too difficult, your brain gets overwhelmed and stops learning. If it is too easy, your brain gets bored and switches off. The perfect spot is material that is just slightly above your current level. It should be challenging but understandable. Think of it like physical exercise. If you try to lift weights that are too heavy, you will hurt yourself. If the weights are too light, you will not build strength. But with the right weight, your muscles grow naturally. Now let's explore why trying to speak English too early actually hurts your progress. Your brain has two types of memory: working memory and long-term memory. Working memory is like your brain's desk. It can only hold a few items at once. Long-term memory is like a huge library where permanent knowledge is stored. When you try to speak English before building a solid foundation, you force your working memory to do multiple tasks at the same time. It has to remember vocabulary, apply grammar rules, control pronunciation, and express your thoughts. This creates cognitive overload, which means your brain gets too tired to work properly. Under this pressure, your brain takes shortcuts. It locks in the first patterns it finds, even if they are wrong. These early mistakes become deeply embedded habits that are extremely difficult to change later. Imagine learning to drive while at the same time learning traffic rules, memorizing street names, and trying to navigate to a destination. You would develop terrible driving habits that would stick with you for years. The same thing happens with English. Here is something important. Your accent is not just about how you move your mouth. It is about how your brain processes English sounds. During the silent period, your brain learns to hear English sounds correctly. English has sounds that do not exist in your native language. Your brain needs time to develop new pathways for these sounds. When you speak too early, your brain uses the closest sounds from your native language. These wrong substitutions become automatic. Your mouth muscles learn incorrect movements, and your brain accepts these wrong patterns as correct. Professional actors who need to master new accents use a technique called silent observation before they ever attempt to speak in character. They spend weeks just listening and watching. This allows their brains to absorb the target accent naturally. Research shows that people who respect the silent period develop much more natural pronunciation than those who start speaking immediately. So how do you use this powerful silent period in your English learning? The magic number is 6 months. During these 6 months, your main goal is input, not output. You are feeding your brain high-quality English content while resisting the urge to speak. Start with content that is slightly below your current level. Children's cartoons are not childish for language learning. They are brilliant because they use simple vocabulary with clear visual context. Your brain can easily connect sounds to meanings. Slowly increase complexity. Move from cartoons to educational videos for teenagers, then to simple documentaries. Each level builds on the previous one, creating a solid foundation. The key is understanding without translation. Avoid subtitles in your native language. they train your brain to read translations instead of understanding English directly. English subtitles are better, but no subtitles at all gives you the fastest progress. Here is the practical formula that works. Spend 2 to 3 hours daily watching or listening to English content you understand about 80% of. This means you miss some words, but follow the main story or message. Why 80%? If you understand everything, the content is too easy. Your brain is not challenged. If you understand less than 60%, the content is too difficult. Your brain gives up trying to learn. Search YouTube for comprehensible input English, and you will find specially designed content that follows this formula. These videos use simple language with clear visual context. This makes understanding natural and automatic. Variety is important. Mix different types of content. Stories, educational videos, simple documentaries, interviews. This exposes your brain to different vocabulary, accents, and speaking styles. Think of this process like construction. You are not building a house by throwing random materials together. You are following a careful plan. Foundation first, then walls, then roof. Week 1 to 4, focus on very simple content. Children's stories, basic educational videos, simple conversations with clear visual context. Week 5 to 12, slowly introduce more complex content. Educational videos for teenagers, simple news stories, interviews with clear topics. Week 13 to 24, move to adult content that interests you. Documentaries about your hobbies, podcasts on topics you love, lectures on subjects you already understand. By month 6, something incredible happens. You start thinking in English. English phrases pop into your head naturally. You dream in English. Your brain has built a sophisticated English model that is ready for activation. Now for our traditional phrase of the day, and today's phrase perfectly matches our topic. Take your time. This phrase means do not rush or work at your own pace, but it carries a deeper wisdom that applies perfectly to language learning. In English-speaking cultures, take your time reflects an important understanding. Quality results require patience. When someone says take your time, they are giving you permission to do something properly rather than quickly. For English learners, this phrase becomes a powerful reminder. Your brain needs time to build its English model. Rushing this process does not make you fluent faster. It prevents you from becoming fluent at all. Here is how to use it naturally. Do not worry about speaking yet. Take your time to build your foundation. Learning English is a marathon, not a sprint, so take your time. Take your time to really understand before you try to speak. Remember this phrase when you feel pressure to speak before you are ready. Your future fluent self will thank you for taking your time now. Let's create your personal action plan. This is not just theory. This is your roadmap to English fluency. Month 1 and 2, establish your daily routine. Find 2 to 3 hours of simple English content you genuinely enjoy. Create a comfortable learning environment where you can focus without pressure. Month 3 and 4, notice the changes. You will start recognizing more words automatically. English phrases will sound more natural. Do not be tempted to start speaking yet. Your brain is still building important connections. Month 5 and 6, experience the transformation. English will start making natural sense. You will predict what speakers will say next. You will understand humor and cultural references. This is your brain's English model reaching maturity. After month 6, begin your speaking journey, but intelligently. Start with shadowing exercises. This means repeating after native speakers to train your pronunciation. Then move to describing simple situations. Finally, engage in real conversations. The most important change is not in your study method. It is in your mindset. Stop measuring progress by how much you speak. Start measuring progress by how much you understand naturally, without effort or translation. Stop feeling guilty about not speaking. Start feeling proud that you are building a solid foundation that will support fluent English for life. Stop comparing yourself to others who speak broken English early. Start imagining your future self speaking with confidence and natural fluency. This mindset change transforms language learning from a frustrating struggle into an exciting journey of discovery. Watch for these danger signals that you are trying to speak too early. You translate in your head before speaking. This means your brain has not built direct English pathways yet. You make the same mistakes repeatedly. This shows your brain has locked in incorrect patterns that need more input to correct. You feel exhausted after English conversations. This mental tiredness indicates your brain is working too hard to produce English. You avoid complex topics in English. This suggests your English model is not sophisticated enough for natural expression. If you notice these signs, return to your silent period. There is no shame in taking more time to build proper foundations. As we finish today's episode, I want you to understand something important. You have just learned the most valuable secret in language learning. The silent period is not about being passive or lazy. It is about being smart. It is about working with your brain's natural learning mechanisms instead of against them. Thousands of English learners are struggling right now because nobody told them this secret. They are forcing themselves to speak before their brains are ready. They are creating habits that will take years to fix. But you are different. You now understand why your brain has been resisting your attempts to speak English. It has been trying to protect you from forming bad habits. It has been trying to build something beautiful and lasting. Your brain is incredibly sophisticated. It knows how to learn language. After all, it already learned your native language perfectly. Trust this process. Give your brain the silent period it needs. 6 months from now, when English flows from your mouth naturally and effortlessly, you will remember this moment. You will remember the day you discovered the silent period secret and decided to trust the science instead of following the crowd. Your English transformation begins now, not with speaking, but with intelligent, purposeful silence. Thank you for joining me on Coffee English today. If this episode opened your eyes to a new possibility, share it with another English learner who needs to hear this message. Remember, great English speakers are not born. They are carefully built, one day of smart input at a time. Until next time, take your time, trust the process, and keep building that amazing English brain of yours. This is Coffee English, and your fluent future is waiting.